popping, yo?
Hey.
Y'all will never guess who. We got a movie star in the building with us today.
Yes.
We got Too Real. It took us a little time to get because I had to get her autograph. She just came in back from Dubai.
I just flew in from
Dubai,
Ethiopia.
She just flew in from Dubai, and she's with us today. Yes, we are excited. She is a part of us, y'all, and we're so glad to have us in the building.
Siamese twins, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. So I might get jumped today, but I got. But
you already know. As soon as we get to preaching, we get to jumping.
Yes. As soon as I get to not listening, they're gonna bring me back in. You know what I'm saying? So, but listen, y'all, we want y'all, to come be a part of the Shift movement, y'all. Y'all like, subscribe, share, like, subscribe, and share.
Do that.
Yes.
Today's topic.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
I'm your girl, Lady Free.
I'm your boy, Pastor J.
And I'm Too Real.
And we are here on Shift Real Talk Tuesdays.
Yes, we are.
You can find us at Shift Real Talk TV. So join in, y'all.
Yes.
Join in. So listen, y'all.
Party.
Listen, y'all. This topic today, like I said, every topic that we get, man, we really just we pray about it, and God shows us what we need to kind of bring forth to the people that may need it and understand it. And today's topic is pretty much dear. I kind of struggled with it a little bit, but I really do know that we're talking today about the good tips of mental health.
The truth.
Yes.
The truths.
Yes.
About mental health.
About mental health.
And not only are we discussing, man, but we're gonna invite a guest on.
We have a guest.
We have a guest,
Yes.
y'all. But before we bring the guest, we want to cultivate a healthier mindset. Have you struggled with stress? Have you struggled with dealing with high levels of anxiety? If you struggle with that, if you had a couple of those issues, we want to kind of help you out today. And today, I want to introduce. I mean, y'all know her.
You know her by name.
Because she is very, very, very affluential on the comments.
Yes.
She's very affluential on the comment section. Hey, Aunt Liza, how you doing?
She's been with us since day one.
Yes, she has.
Used to be the most frequent
she
viewer.
Is the most frequent viewer.
She won that at one point.
Yeah, and we just decided to bring her on. Absolutely. And guess what, y'all? She is a licensed therapist. Yes. So she is. So this this is her profession.
Come on.
So we gonna bring her on, man. I'm gonna introduce y'all. Y'all know her as Mind Provoking.
Yo.
She's
in the building.
She got that pretty smile. Look at that, y'all. So she's in the building.
She's like, stop making me blush, y'all.
She's a little blushing. Hey, she got the nerve to tell me she's shy and got a whole little program set up.
Come on.
Hey.
But listen, hey, how y'all doing? Liza, hey, they tuning in. Yes. But listen, I struggled with mental health. Not struggle with the actual mental health, but I struggled with the idea of what it was. I struggled with it because, when I was growing up, it wasn't actually considered mental health. But until when I got in school and now I'm studying to get to where you are, then actually understanding the different behaviors, then it's like, oh my gosh, this is truly, people are really struggling with their thoughts. They're struggling with behavier. And I'm understanding, where it comes from. Why don't you give us, I'm sorry.
You didn't give her time to even introduce herself.
I'm sorry, I was jumping right in. You're right.
This is when we cut him off.
Yeah, I swear. See, I got two. They jumping me today. They jumping me.
Mind Provoking. Tell us something about yourself.
All right, so Mind Provoking is my brand that I literally made based off of psychology because I feel as though it's too many negative connotations in the world, so why not turn it into positive acronyms? So for instance, if you don't like your boss, blessing overpowers stressful situations. If you ever feel lonely, that just means you're loving on nobody while entertaining a lifelong you. You feel your life is a mess, making enough sacrifices for success. Has anybody ever called you dumb? Don't undermine my brilliance, and so forth. So that brings me to my real name, which is De'Evra Lacey. I have my licensed professional counselor. I am a licensed professional counselor working in all of Georgia. I work in all of Georgia. I'm only licensed in Georgia, and it's a pleasure to be here, and it's my passion.
Yes. Welcome.
Excuse me.
Drum roll.
Call me dumb if you want to.
Excuse me.
Don't
You know, I'm really proud of her because I don't hope you don't mind, but you're still young.
Yeah.
How old are you? Don't mind me asking.
You don't ask a lady how old she is.
She old enough.
She don't mind sharing.
37.
Wow, she's
Are you
still young.
really?
She's still
I'll
young.
be
Are you
38
really?
September 13. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
How come
Okay.
we? How? No, we the same age. That's not possible.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm older than all y'all.
Tiara and Rashawn, thank y'all for joining us today.
Awesome.
Yes. So, and
Like, I
definitely,
used to
we got
babysit
Too Real. Too Real is definitely a fan of yours, and
Yep.
Too Real is definitely
Absolutely. They
that is our
love
Too
them
Real
for
is our baby girl.
mind-provoking. Absolutely.
Yes, Too Real
So,
is our. So
Okay, now
So now
you
let
can get
now,
right
can I
on
jump
in.
now? Can I
Yes,
dive?
yes.
Can I
dive
jump now?
into it.
Too Real, can I jump now?
Go
Dive.
ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right.
Dive in.
So, like I was saying
dive.
before, I struggled with the acronym of mental health. You know, because I really felt like it was something that was used in today's society to explain or to replace what behavior or the struggle of the mind. Because, you know, me being biblical and stuff like that, I know a lot of our battles, you know, they
Spiritually,
spiritual, they
starts in the
start in
mind.
our mind.
Yeah.
But people who aren't spiritual, they really struggle with behaviors. They struggle with things that, you know, that were picked up as minors, as children, and coming now. I've known some people who really have mental, like they're really like struggling with even putting thoughts together.
And it doesn't even matter if you're from a small child in elementary that's struggling, or even a PhD doctorate. I mean, I went to see one of my old bosses, and he's struggling with anxiety right now and very successful. And he was just saying, just stress of the world, worrying about the past, worrying about the future. And the good thing is he's doing something about it, because you can't control what's in the past.
Yeah.
You got to look forward to for the future, and you just got to take it one day at a time.
Right.
So let's
I think it
start
also has to do with like culturally, because in certain cultures you hear things, you're raised on, oh, pray it away, or they'll grow out of it, or things of that nature, not knowing that it's even a mental health issue, right? So a lot of cultures just want you to pray it away, but it's the negative connotation mental health has on certain cultures or people, because what happens is that people are afraid to have their child diagnosed, because they feel as though a mental disorder is something that's like bad, or something they did while they were baking in the oven, or they could have did this better, or things of that nature. But what it comes down to is the statistics and the stereotype of why people are undiagnosed today.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's go back. Let's before we get into let's kind of delve into what actually mental health is.
Come on.
I think mental health is like autism. Autism is a wide spectrum. Some children can fall on this end. They can fall in the middle. They can fall on the right, far left. Same thing with mental illness. It depends on what happened to you in your life. I mean, even with schizophrenia, that's something that's triggered by trauma. Most people aren't born with schizophrenia. It's something that happened, whether it's a genetic makeup or something that happens in the childhood or in their adulthood, that triggers that psychosis to become schizophrenia. So I think it just depends. It's an individual basis, I think, and what's happened in your life that triggered that.
What'd you say, Mon? I have the clinical, but you can give it.
It's mental health is just, I have a whole purple Bible that's called the DSM-5. It's a whole lot of disorders in one huge book.
One huge
right?
book.
That you would never know, like gender dysphoria, or it's even some sexual disorders as well in there. So it's a wide range of disorders that I don't think people even know about.
Yeah.
We're just scratching the surface when we say stress, depression, anxiety, autism, but there's so much more.
Much to it. Yeah, I believe that.
I have the concept of encompassing emotional, psychological, and social well-being. And that affects the way we think, feel, and act.
That's correct.
It affects the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we act. That is so deep.
Yeah.
And then going into the anxiety thing, you said the boss, but there are things that trigger anxiety. There are things that we deal with. You know what I'm saying? You got
just being able, him being a male and him carrying the weight of his whole family, just all that just triggers anxiety.
Life.
And then him having to practice and deciding when he want to retire, just life in general.
Right.
And that's why a lot of times men don't really, from what I see, go out there to get the help because they don't want it to be a sign of weakness, versus a woman will get on some kind of app, Sesame, and be like, hey, I got this going on. I need a pill. Let me figure this out. And so I feel like a lot of men are embarrassed to get that kind of help because of the stigmatism of mental illness. Like there's something wrong with you. Once you take a pill, you're not normal. And I think that's not accurate.
So do you
Right,
think
because there is a disorder called adjustment disorder. You don't have to take a pill for that. It's just you
Yeah.
having a hard time adjusting to childhood, adjusting to being an adult, adjusting to bills and financial responsibilities. That's the generic code for, someone that just wants to come in and talk.
Yeah.
so how would you say, because I see a lot of people go on Google and do research, how effective do you think Google is when it comes to helping people or helping diagnose people who do have these disorders?
Well, MD.
It's wrong. I don't know. I'm not even. I don't even have a PhD.
How
Right,
effective
that'll
is
make you
Google?
go
Google,
even
Google. I'm
more.
going crazy.
Now you know what? Now, if I go to Chat GTP, I probably have better luck with my diagnosis. Not with no Google.
Google, I'm going crazy. What you take? What should I take? No, seriously. How effective do you think that is? Like going on Google.
It's really not effective because it'll send you spiraling. You may meet criteria
Absolutely.
for autism, or you may meet criteria for ADHD, not knowing that it reflects each other. You may meet criteria
Yes.
for anxiety, but depression shows up a lot in anxiety too, because you feel like you're a failure and you're trying to, just you're having a panic attack because you didn't do something well, and then you feel like a failure, which leads to depression. So it's a lot of disorders that like mirror each other. So you can't just really go off of one and say you meet criteria. That's not how it works. We actually do multiple tests before we actually
Yeah.
diagnose you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Quincy said,
I
"Can
was
you
about to, yeah.
can you give some more mental health disorders that we may not know about? Could you name a couple of more?"
So I mean, it's a lot. So I don't know if you all know about, let's just do the basics of childhood. You have conduct disorder. That's actually a disorder, right?
Yeah.
You have intermittent explosive disorder, right? People who just like to put things on fire, or not put things on fire, set things on fire, or they're very destructive in nature, right? You have, what is that? DMDD, which is disruptive mood disorder, dysregulation disorder. So things that just, your moods are just dysregulated. It's not bipolar. It's just sometimes you're up, sometimes you're in the middle, sometimes you're down, but it fluctuate daily. So those are some of the ones that's like just in childhood, and over time, if those aren't treated, then it expands into a more serious disease like
Then
bipolar.
it becomes more manic, right? Yeah.
Right, more manic, right? Hypomanic and manic, yeah. The highs and lows become severe.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard about the generalized anxiety disorder?
Yes, GAD.
GAD. Yeah. Excessive worry. That's what it is. It's excessive. You a worrier, and you over generalize, and you think overthinking. Oh God, what if?
Right.
And then you go into if you really be honest with it, a lot of this stuff really leads to a level of that anxiety, which causes you to have those symptoms, because what we do when we have those anxiety attacks, we sleep a lot, we throw up. These are symptoms of anxiety. So we
Or
deal with-
people will do substance or drink
Yeah.
to cover their thing. So usually people go towards something to cope with
Yes.
those particular
Yes.
things.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
We have
what you
Michael
mentioned was
Thornton on the
cognitive
line.
distortions.
Okay,
I
I'm
was just
sorry. We
saying
have
what,
Michael
what
Thornton
you
on the line.
mentioned.
Hey, Michael. Go ahead, doctor.
You're doing Jesse today.
I did. I did.
She did
I
a
was
me
just
today.
saying what Uncle Jesse said was he referenced overgeneralization. That's a cognitive distortion.
Yes.
So you also have cognitive distortions that really aren't disorders. It's just how you would say, I'm always awkward, I'm always this, or I'm always doing that. You live in like an always world, which is because you overgeneralize and things of that nature. So what you mentioned, though, it's a lot of cognitive distortions that we don't even realize we do on a daily basis.
And that's why you can't Google, because you'll really go down the rabbit hole trying to figure it out.
And that's going to add more stress and more mental anguish.
And they don't understand this level of study, mind provoking. It's a lot.
Did y'all know I never understood Alice in Wonderland? The reason why she went down the rabbit hole, because it's like in our mind how we wondering all the time, and it takes us too far. We spiral out of control,
and then it's
just trying to get there, trying to wonder, and we following this imaginary type situation, trying to find like our answers and trying to find our way back. Yeah. I never knew that's what that was about.
So what I
that makes sense.
So going back to what Turi was talking about, she said her boss is dealing with it, and I just kind of wanted to just give like 5 different triggers that triggers a level of anxiety. There's a social trigger, there's a work trigger, there's a finance trigger, there's a health trigger, and then there's a life change trigger.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times when we have dramatic life changes,
and he just turned a certain age, 60. So
yes,
age, work, grandkids now, all those things. So yeah, for sure.
Yes. So what? How do you? So let's because I want to ask y'all a question while I got y'all in the building. I'm gonna ask y'all a question. If you come across, but at the end of the day, because a lot of times, like I said, we don't know who is dealing with this level of disorder.
Right.
If everybody that we come across every day, there's somebody that we may walk in front of, and they may be dealing with it, and we don't even know about it. But what if this hits home? Like there's somebody in your household that is dealing with this level of anxiety trigger. How do we, as people who I guess, you know, that don't deal with it, and maybe we do deal with it in some way, form, or fashion, but we just know how to, I guess, maintain it. Is it a level of managing that, or helping them to manage it, or do we help them get over it?
Well,
so I always tell people you cannot step outside your scope of practice. You may end up harming somebody when you don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm not saying.
I mean, I
go deep, but I don't go that deep.
Yeah. But remember, this shift real talk. We put it out there.
We put it out there.
We put it out
there. So I mean,
it's
the same thing for me. Like, you know, one of my children was diagnosed at the age of 18 of schizophrenia. You know, so at first there was already signs, but I didn't really pay attention because I was a young mom myself. But once I realized and got the help and went to God and said, just show me what to do. And I got the call when I was at work and got my daughter the help she needed. And I didn't even know how to get her the help. I just started reading, and God put me to a medication, and I told the place where she was at. And once I did that, and because when I went to see my child, she was like a zombie. Like, it was one of the hardest things for any parent to deal with, because you're young, you're thinking you're doing everything right, and it's just something that just happened. She went to prom, did everything she was supposed to do. Everything was beautiful. And then, bam, it happened like within 6 months of that. So it was very shocking, you know? And so once she did get the help and the resources or whatever, now she's great. She takes her medication. She gets a shot every 3 months. And with that being said, somebody else had a child in a similar situation. Because of my experience, I was able to say, hey, maybe you should look into this. And their child got the same thing and is doing amazing. Wow. So it hasn't stopped my daughter from achieving. Yeah, she may do things a little different, but she can do, her brain works perfectly fine. You know, it's just something that happened. And then with the research, we found out that a relative of her dad's, you know, also had schizophrenia. So we feel like it's something genetic, but also too, my daughter was very shy and an introvert. She kind of isolated herself a lot. And as parents, when you're young and you're working and you're going, you don't really pay attention to those things. But I'm just blessed that I was able to get my daughter the help she needs. And I always tell parents, don't be afraid to get your kids help. Like, it's okay. Right. Like, she's living with it. She's confident about it. She tells people her story, and it doesn't stop her from being the most amazing child ever, and sweet and kind and loving. So it's a blessing. Yeah.
Mama Pearlie, Pastor Mia's on.
Mama
Yeah.
P.
We got a question for you,
Keith
Mom.
Baker.
Somebody's asked, are you an advocate for medication as treatment?
So it depends upon the disorder. I was told in my doctoral program that I'd be blackballed because I wasn't for medication, as I feel as though most people can take the holistic route and tap into their potential, and the mind is very powerful. So I would do the holistic part first, but if I feel as though you're not progressing, then yes, I refer you to a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
That's
what we did for
say
my
the
daughter.
same. You know, I say the same thing because a lot of us really don't tap in to the real power of what was within us. And what we do is when we get on the medicine, what that does it helps us to manage it, but it doesn't help us to overcome it. You know what I'm saying? So
The medication takes over.
Actually,
that
takes
becomes
over.
the control. You're not
It
even in
becomes the
control of your body
Exactly.
after that.
But also, it depends on the diagnosis and the situation. Because some diagnosis, mental illness, schizophrenia is totally different from somebody that just has a minor anxiety or depression. It is not the same. So you got to get the right diagnosis.
So I have a question. The medication that you actually researched and found for her, was that a holistic approach?
No, it wasn't. But at that time, it was so extreme what was happening. It's like we had no choice.
God sent you to that.
God sent me to that.
Yeah,
And
when
I don't
you
know
asked for
how I
help,
found that.
Yeah,
but when I saw my child like that and I went to God and said, God, show me.
He showed
And
you.
he showed me that with the right dosage. And I went to the doctor and showed her this is what I want. Because I said, if my child going to be like this, then I could take care of my child at home. And as soon as I did that, next thing you know, my daughter called me and said, Mom, come get me. I was like, all right, let's go. I wouldn't pick my child up. I sure did. And now the rest is history.
Were you afraid to go and get her?
Hell no, I wasn't afraid to go get her. God forgive me now. Because I was like, if she gonna be up there just sitting, just staring at the wall, she could be at home with me staring at the wall. At least I could take care of my own child.
Right.
And she gonna feel more comfortable. I feel like when people throw people in young kids in the facilities like that, they tell you, oh, they're going to be doing this, they're going to be doing that. Those kids don't be doing jack. Most of those places are set up for adults. And most of those places are set up for people that deal with addiction and stuff like that. Really, they really not set up for young people with mental illness.
Well, here's the thing. And
it's actually more traumatizing.
Yeah,
yes,
it really is.
yes.
See,
so that's why I got her out of there.
The whole thing, we got to remember this, and this is not talking against those therapists that are out there, but to be honest with you, for insurance reasons.
No, that's what it was.
They're supposed to wrap you with services, so a lot of them don't go the holistic route because it's sometimes it is risky when you're dealing with situation people.
Well, especially somebody so young, because when they're young.
The parents are like again. You don't understand. Like it's a whole. It's an insurance risk.
Because my daughter was still considered a minor. I mean, she was 18. Yeah. So they one minute they're 18, but then they're still not mentally sound to make the right decisions. So again, as a mom, I had to go in there and be her voice and be her advocate.
Right.
Because if it was up to them, they were going to just keep giving her medicine and they were going to try to keep her in there. And I was like, no. They wanted to force me to keep her in there. And I said, no, I'm coming. When I come up there, I'm taking my daughter. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did. Yeah. And now she's, I mean, everything is beautiful. So a parent has to stand up and be their advocate.
Aunt Liza says, because I was told that the medication was not designed for young black males. It was made for adult white males. His doctor told me this about my grandson. What do you think about that? That the medication
that's a mind-provoking question.
And she said her grandson's doctor told her that this is not for young black men, but mainly for adult white males.
That's the wrong answer to say from a doctor. Go ahead, Mom.
Yeah, that's kind of
It's
one of those things to where I would say in the past it was probably for for whites or whatever, but now that it's 2024, that's not the case anymore statistically. But I understand why why some people would think that. We got to look at what they did with even the syphilis the thing they did with the syphilis case and everything like that. So it makes you think that, okay, we're just your test dummies for the real thing and we're getting the generic version, but that's not the case at all today, I don't believe.
Ooh.
Tiara,
I say get another doctor.
Tiara,
that's just my opinion.
I say the same thing because before you do that, I want to say that I say the same thing because, like I said, even though some people are licensed, they really don't have. And this sometimes it gets me in trouble because I have the heart to do the holistic treatment. Like I try my best to not go that route. And you know, saying as far as medicine is concerned, because it's like, you know, that we have the power and we don't even understand what lies in us. And sometimes it's just really tapping into those things and giving people belief that they can actually overcome this disorder, because that's what it is. It's a disorder.
And sometimes,
yeah,
sometimes it's really disheartening when you try to tell people that you can overcome this, that people will fight you on that today and say, you can't say that. It's like, yes, I can, because I'm going to come from a different standpoint that we've been talking about. Of course, this is Shift Real Talk. My real talk is, yes, you can, because God created our minds. And it's a certain thing that has happened in this fallen world that has caused us to have to deal with all of these disorders and anxieties and all of the things that's happening. God did not intend for that for us. So if God is saying that you can have a righteous mind, and if he's saying that you don't, he says, do not be anxious, he wouldn't put do not be if we couldn't. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes renewing of the mind. It takes conditioning your mind on positive and all the inspirational word of God. I believe that some people can overcome.
No, I
but
agree.
if we are so focused on no, you can't, a lot of times I feel like, and this is me talking, I feel like a lot of times some therapists or and I'm a certified Christian counselor and a life coach, but I feel like a lot of times people monopolize on the fact that they don't want people to overcome so that they can continuously have that client coming, and that's where I feel like it's unfair. Yes, people can be delivered, because I believe in deliverance. I believe that I was
talking
delivered.
to Mind Provoking the other day, and we was having a conversation even about the topic, and she said it too, because we do the same thing. When we first are interviewing, just to see whether people understand who are you? And a lot of times they don't even know that they can because they don't even know who they are to overcome some of these things that they dealing with. So you know.
And to be honest, if you really tap into what they probably went through as a child and help them understand that the coping mechanisms that you built as a child when your mind was still developing as an adult, you have the same power to take those coping mechanisms and turn them into healthy ways of thinking and living and being, then a lot of people will be able to have a healthy mind and an amazing life if this is something that they're interested in. I'm not saying everybody, because like you said, there are real issues. There really are. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I feel like a lot of times, and especially today, I feel like a lot of the behaviors that our children exhibit, and the parents don't want to take responsibility for some of it. This is not everybody. But the parents, a lot of times, I see working with youth for 27 years, I've seen it happen where parents don't want to take the responsibility for the way the child is acting. So they'll label the child with a disorder. Some of them do it to get a check. Yeah. But see, it's like we have made mental dis-ease, which means your mind is not at ease. We have made that a money thing today, and it's unfortunate because some people really need the help. Go ahead.
But I see when it comes to me, and I have other parents that I talk to who have children, and they children really do need the help and the resources. Because me being a substitute teacher, I see a lot of those kids in those schools, and they need the help. Some of them really need the help, and they're mixed in with kids that don't need the help. So it's a disservice to those children, because I feel if they're getting more one-on-one and you're working with those students on the areas where they struggle, and because a lot of it's coming from the household, and you can see it in these kids. So when you're working with them and you're seeing them, and they're great kids, but at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of those kids just need more love and more one-on-one.
And like
here's a question for you, Mind Provoking.
Go ahead.
Let's go to the question, because you know the time will go.
About Tiara?
Yeah, Tiara. Okay. She said, Mind Provoking, what advice do you have for strong believers who conclude that their loved one with a mental illness can be cured solely with prayer and church entities? How do you convince them to seek Western medicine?
So there's no convincing. We have to be careful about us putting what we believe on other people. We have to, that's
Amen.
why
Yeah.
it's, we have to take a multicultural competent class, right?
Yep.
Based off of that question alone, because I can't tell you what's right for you and your culture. And I know about your culture, but I'm telling you what I do in mine, thinking that it'll work for you. Because once it doesn't work, then you harm the client. That's a lawsuit. So I
An
have to
automatic
read up on
lawsuit.
their culture, right? I have to read up on their culture. If you saying this will work for you, then I'm gonna read up on it. I'm gonna solely like talk to you about your culture and where you come from. Until you say, "Hey, I want to step outside my culture." That's the only time that I'm going to step outside is when you ask for when you ask for it. The only time.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta be careful because, like I said, if you give them an advice, and it could be good advice, but as soon as that
Right.
advice
Sides don't
don't
fit
work,
all, yeah.
if it does not work for them, and sometimes mind provoking, it may work, but they may believe it don't work. So even with that little belief, they can come back and blame. So it's very. That's why I said even for insurance purposes or
Medical,
lawsuits, that you got to be very. You got to. It's almost
Especially
like
when
walking
you're
a
a clinic,
thin
when
line.
you're a doc, you know,
Yeah, you got to
clinical,
walk that
yeah.
thin. It's a thin line
Tiara,
walking this.
if it seems like these people are believers of Christ, so if you, instead of saying how can you convince them to seek Western medicine, if you truly believe that this person needs it, then go to God and ask God,
That's right. That's what I
like
did.
Allie did. She went to God and asked God to show her the way.
Yep.
And God will show you the way. You'll
He
end up
did.
saying something out of your mouth that will
Yep.
unlock something in their heart and their mind
Yeah.
and make
'Cause
them
I
say,
went
you
right
know
to
what?
it.
And as Mind Provoking says, you know what? I need this.
Yep.
And then
What's
they'll
up,
go
Al?
and ask for what they need. But you can't necessarily convince
Right.
or make people want help. They have to want it. And
Yeah.
that's the only
And I
way it'll be
wanna
effective.
And I want to add on to that too, because most people forget that I only see them for an hour once a
Yeah.
week.
Once a
For the
week.
rest of the time and the hours, they got to go
They're
back
in
to
the
the same
world.
thing that they, right. They got to go back to their family
Absolutely.
who believes this way. They got to go back to their friends who believe this way, occupational stressors. And then I just see them for an hour a week. So it's just like, how can I take what you say as face value and be different than what's surrounding me?
Exactly.
Right.
So that's
Environment.
another layer
Environmental.
to it. That's another layer
And,
to it.
and environment plays another part of disorders too.
Oh yeah.
The environment
Oh yeah.
definitely plays.
And that's why it's
Environmental
very,
stressors.
yep, and that's why
Triggers.
it's very important. I believe, and I'm gonna keep saying I believe because you can quote me on this. That's why I feel like it's very important that even as a Christian counselor or a therapist or any other kind of counselor, it's important for you to have that extra backup. That means even though I only see you once for an hour in that week, I know now what you dealing with, and I could take what you dealing with to God and says, okay, God, while this person is out of my presence, they need your presence. They need you to walk with them. They need you to guide them. Send them somebody along the way that'll tell them some of the same stuff that'll remind them of what we've already talked about. So I believe that Christian counseling is one of the most effective to be delivered from an illness, because that one mental illness you have, guess what? That's not the only thing you're dealing with. So help me get rid of that so I can keep on dealing with the rest of the stuff I got going
Let
on.
me ask you this, Mind Provoking too. So when someone has a situation where it's a family member, a friend, or even a spouse, husband or wife, each other, do you recommend that they come to you together? Because I feel like if that person is going by themselves and it's a mom and a child, of course, if they're a minor, they have to bring their parent. But sometimes children go off to college and they may come to you with their, because they've done the research and they Googled you and said, oh, I want to go see, they want to go see you. Do you recommend that they at least, try to make a family or friend aware of them coming to see you so they can try to have the same positive reflection with other people knowing that they're trying to get help for what they're struggling with?
It's a slippery slope. What do we do as people? If we know that a person's in therapy and we're not seeing the results, we down them. Like, therapy not working, therapy ain't this, therapy not that.
Yeah.
So the reason why HIPAA
But I'm
is so,
saying, like, when let me kind of restate the question. When it comes to like family, like your mom or your dad or people that are close that are pouring into you already, do you recommend if they do have that kind of bond with a family member like a mom or dad to let them know that they're getting that?
It all depends. It definitely all depends because a lot of people or families that come to me, they feel their family members feel as though they're the only problem. The client is the only problem. And I try to incorporate the family, but you have to do like the paperwork for them to even be seen because of HIPAA. So it's one of those things where, like, if I can just go down a line of my clients, a lot of people just bring one person.
That's what I'm saying. Do they at least bring one person that they feel close and comfortable with? That they can and that's the person. To.
If it's a minor, that's their parent. But even then, you have that parent-child conflict, right? Yeah. So you're coming because of the parent. You're coming because of the child. Exactly. Right. So that's why they come as a pair. But 9 times out of 10, no, because they're downed if they do something wrong. I guess therapy isn't working, and it's like it's put in their face to the point where they start to kind of place that doubt in them. Well, they said it's not working. I'm starting to believe it because I'm not getting better. I'm not being fixed. I'm not being healed. So it's like I tell them to go on it in a way that don't tell anybody. And once you start changing, the results, the proof is in the pudding. You don't have to say anything, right?
It's in the pudding.
Yep.
Right.
So and then too, as counselors, you really have to create that safe space for them to be able to open up. And 9 times out of the 10 is by themselves. Because when you're by themselves with the counselor, you already with somebody who's foreign to you
and who's non-biased. Because they don't really
so you got to even develop the trust between the counselor and the counselee. So it's not good. It is not really. It's really not good at first to bring somebody while you're doing the counseling.
But I'm saying like it's we do them separate.
We do them separate,
and then together.
And then when the level of comfort is there, on both sides. Then now you can bring in because you have created that space. So
because sometimes in order for them to tell their story transparently, they can't have that other person in there. So now I hear your story and he hears the male story, and then when we come together, we kind of have a big picture of what's going on.
Let me go and read a couple of these comments, y'all. Mia, what's up, girl? Al West, my boy Al West is on.
Hey, Al Boogie.
Al said, black folks should not think it isn't possible to have mental defects. Nobody is invincible.
Hello. Amen.
Mia said, I had a mentee whose doctor put her and her sister on medicine to deal with their depression, and she became zombie-like and dependent on the medicine. I took time with her and found her torment was constant due to her unwillingness to forgive. I was able to help her sister because she was ready, but she wasn't. Over time and additional health problems from the medicine, she finally started the process. Like Mind Provoker said earlier, a lot of times that medicine takes over. Yeah. It takes over, and you become dependent. Yeah, with the whole, and it almost become like a drug to some people. And I say that very carefully.
Listen, Al West says, although spiritual healing is the most powerful, some of us are born with certain things within our DNA. It can be from ancient DNA.
Genetics plays a role in a lot of stuff.
That's why doctors these days are toying with DNA to mimic God.
That's right. Right. Come on, A.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is so and true, man. Like and we go. I go back. I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate of trying to prevent from, because I know I've seen people go like literally lose all self from medicine, and I've seen it happen. And like I said, I'm not every situation is different.
Exactly.
But if somebody can really get to the point where they're like, if I can get a response from them, then I know, okay, at least there's something in there that just needs to be dealt with. She's reachable. But if there's a level of communication that doesn't go back and forth, and there's some other thing, so then I would refer at some point. Like, did they ever tell you, like, sometimes we refer you to doctors. You don't need a counselor, you need a doctor.
That's right.
So you refer. So I want to deal with a little bit of the bipolar stuff, De'Evra.
Okay.
What do you how in the scale of a lot of the disorders, how does being bipolar?
I think it's a connection issue.
Yeah.
It'll go away a little bit. You breaking up.
Yeah, you actually.
You in Atlanta?
Up. Let's see.
You wrong for that.
Can
You in Atlanta?
Can you hear us?
The secret is within of the level of brain trauma. That's right, Al. That's right. That's right.
Is within the level of brain trauma.
That's right.
Can you hear us, Mind Provoking?
She's still
She froze up. We'll keep
So
moving.
now she gonna make me wonder about that Apple computer.
Yeah. That's that Apple thing. Hold on. Log back in. Log back in, y'all. Okay. Log back in. So, but anyway, before she come on, I know by being by a bipolar disorder. Hold on. Let me go back to my notes. And this is like what I got out of class. What we do. It's a mood disorder that negatively affects how you feel, think, and act. It's a mental illness that causes unusual shifts in mood, energy, and activities, and energy levels. So you can be, I've seen people get 38 hot within just, wow. Oh my gosh.
What happened? What happened?
No, I just thought about somebody who got the bipolar. Yeah. Just really got 38 hot and just could be smiling.
And then flip the switch.
And then just flip the script and get 38 hot. Are you back with us, Mind Provoking?
Yeah.
We can't
We
hear
can't
you.
hear you. Your sound.
Too Real said you making her rethink the Apple computer.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know about that Apple now.
We can't hear you. No sound.
Mama Pearly, we love you. She said we have to remember God gave man wisdom
to create things.
to healing power.
healing
Doctors.
power.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, yeah. So she's saying God gave the doctors the ability to heal.
Well, Luke was a physician.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was a physician.
Yep.
Mind Provoking, say something.
Something. She froze up. Okay, Vivian. Hey, Vivian. Thank you for logging in with us. She said, therapy by yourself speaks to your journey. No one else, no one expectations, just you and your change as you change. That's right. Just like Mind Provoking said, the proof will be in the pudding.
Yep, your
thus
actions.
making you stronger on your journey. Exactly. Whereas if someone else is there, you may feel like there are expectations and they could cause regression versus progression.
Come on,
exactly.
Vivian. You
I totally agree.
Girl.
I
Mind
totally
Provoking.
agree.
Can you say something? See if we can hear you. Nope.
I hear her on that side.
Well,
No, that's Quincy
That's
talking.
Quincy
Yeah,
talking.
that's Quincy talking.
Is something on our end probably that she's chimed in?
I don't know. They trying to work
Figure
it out.
it out. That's
How
what I'm
about
saying.
this? Log back out. Okay.
Yeah.
There we
Log
go.
out and log back in.
Al
We got-
West said spirits can now travel digitally. God, look, Satan is the prince of the air. Come
Ah,
on.
you better come
What
on,
we-
Reverend.
He said what we
Reverend
pay
Al.
attention to, meaning how others respond to life situations. A weak mind can be persuaded on sight.
Exactly.
Satan is the prince of the air. So yes, and I was looking up
That is
portals.
so true.
I was looking up portals and vortexes today, and I'm not gonna tell y'all why, but it's something I'm doing. And do you know that when I was looking up portals, Facebook, Twitter,
got
the
that.
internet,
Meta.
they said that our cell phones is actually a
Portal
portal
into the devil. probably.
into like,
Sins and everything.
girl.
I believe
hear me
it.
now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can hear you now.
Hey.
All right,
Okay.
that's better, girl.
Yeah,
got
that guy.
Verizon.
I don't know
Can you
why I
hear me
had
now?
to just get on my iPhone, but okay.
Okay, see
Yeah.
something we thought you did. Okay, so
It's
that's
still,
all right.
You still got that 1080p.
You hear.
Period.
So we was talking about bipolar disorder before you got disconnected.
But let's
Okay.
move on. Let's okay. We don't want to because we dealt with what it is and how many things how many disorders there are. There are a lot of them, and so many people are understanding that yes, there is healing to now take place. So now let's kind of delve and talk about what are some things that people can do to help them to start process of healing,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, and getting to that place where they can mentally start a change, you know what I'm saying, mentally, what are some things that you would suggest to help them start on a journey of healing and,
There it
dealing
is,
with.
Yeah.
So first you have to want that change, right? It's an internal
Amen.
deficit or internal conflict. So you would have to want that. Wanting it means that if you're coming to therapy, you're going to apply it. I have a lot of clients that be like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do the work. But the work starts from within. right?
Uh-oh,
So
come
you
on.
can't
Man.
keep beating up on yourself
Yep.
by saying negative connotations or negative things because you're convincing your mind to do the exact opposite of what you want for yourself. So you have a
right.
battle with your external and internal. So that has to be worked on first. So we work on internal deficits. What's making you not want to, right? What's telling you something? If you do you hear voices? Do you know that's going into, we ask certain questions like that to make sure they're not hallucinating or hearing voices. And if that's not the case, I always go into this: who's telling you not to do this, or who's forcing you not to do this? And once they say nobody, I then zoom in on themselves. It's a self-reflection.
Yeah.
So you telling yourself what not to do. No external or environmental stressors are actually making you or forcing you not to do something. It's all in your head. So
in
once you
there.
get out of your head, you're more prone to reach deeper inside your internal in order to exude the external results that you want.
Exude.
So I see people. I even see people go get dogs. Like they get animals.
Emotional support animals.
Emotional
ESA.
support animals, and to help to help them to
Or
kind
they
of deal
get,
with.
or they get the emotional support letter so they don't pay their pet deposit. So there's all kinds. That's a whole nother situation.
Pay your fare. Pay your fare.
And believe it or not, the gym working out is not
Hey,
just
that's what I do.
It's
It
not,
helped
it's
me.
not just a physical.
No,
it's
it's
a mental. It
oh,
helps
yeah.
See, that's my
Oh
problem.
yeah, see,
Yeah, see, you
that's what
said
I do.
The gym helps you.
Yeah, it helped me.
I'm fighting myself to go.
See that now
I
you
need
got
to
some
do better.
inner. You got
I
some.
got some
mind
inner-
provoking. She needs you
It's
now.
not nothing external. It's me.
Yep.
Give a shout out
So
to Greater
wait,
Zion
before you move
Baptist
on.
Church.
Before you move on,
Before you move on,
Talk
it
to me.
takes 21 days to break a
change
habit.
Amen. That's right.
Only
That's
3
right.
weeks.
Weeks. Yep,
3
that's
weeks.
what I did.
You've
I'm
been
in that
doing
gym.
Shift Real Talk for how long and dedicating 1
Huh.
hour? You can do the same for the gym.
Amen. Now,
Uh-oh.
You better
Wait a
put
minute.
that belt
Hold
away.
on.
Don't be
Wait a
trying to
minute.
whoop me.
mind provoking. You have spoken.
Wait
You
a
have
minute.
spoken,
you.
queen.
The doors
I
of
hear you.
the doors of
Yes.
the church are now
And
open.
then I be
Yes.
trying to put my little waist trainer on so I
Yes.
won't
The
be fed
doors of the
up.
church
So
are
you
now,
know what?
are now
Working out.
open.
You said a mouthful, honey. I'm telling
She
you right
put,
now.
She put the belt
I don't
want to
hear nothing. No excuse.
I was
No
said I
excuse.
can speak
Because
from
guess what? People
experience.
make time for what they want to make time for.
Hello.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I got to
That's
get
true.
out my head. Yeah.
Al West said, I can speak from experience. Some people's minds move so fast, they can't think like normal people. So the medicine slows the thinking down, but in return makes them medicatedly medicatedly slow.
Yeah, medically slow.
Medically
yeah.
slow. Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, give us some other and these things, like, because I don't like to give people coping mechanisms, because the thing, it's truly about kind of really, to me, being, delivered from it. And the society, I believe, has given us, especially through social media, it's given us ways to really mask it, cope
Or
with
just
it, manage
be
it.
it.
Manage
You don't even
it,
have to,
be
don't
it.
try to hide it no more, honey.
But I
Just be
just-
who you
yeah,
are.
I
Go
just-
off if you gotta go off.
Yeah.
You
Don't
know?
let somebody tell you
I
nothing.
just saw a thing yesterday where they were talking about on NPR, which is a local positive station here in Houston, NPR News, and they were talking about how they're starting to see a shift where counselors are actually getting on TikTok and actually using their platform to really give good information to young people and just to people that are struggling, which
Yeah.
I think that's
good.
not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Okay.
And what do you think about, like,
Darren says my mind is like that. He said his mind goes so fast sometimes that he can't think normal, like other normal
Go to sleep.
people.
Just playing.
You better stop talking to your
No.
uncle like that. Uncle
I'm
Darren,
just
she
saying,
mean
there's
that.
times where my mind, no, they say when your mind race sometimes.
Okay, you was
maybe
for
you
real.
need a melatonin to slow your mind. It's all
No,
natural.
no.
Melatonin is natural, right?
No.
Melatonin is a
I
natural.
don't think it is.
See, let me
Is
tell you.
it?
See,
Yeah, it
you got to
is.
understand what triggers your mind. You see, that's why you got to
My
go
mind
back.
don't race no more. I know how to handle my mind, but I'm saying it used to race back in the day because I was doing things I had no business. So when your mind races, because you racing, and that's why you need to slow down. But I'm just saying overall, like, do you recommend, like,
Yeah,
when
don't go to
people's
sleep,
minds
yeah.
racing, like, slow down. Sometimes we're not getting enough rest, right? Because sleep affects your mind too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
And a lot of
Tiara, she
people be
said
up
it.
all night studying or stressed or worried. So what do you think about sleep when people
But
don't
see,
get
that's
enough
what
rest?
people do when they get depressed. So they go to sleep and it doesn't help because when they wake up, they still depressed.
But Michael Darren ain't. He ain't sleep. He depressed.
No, actually, sleep is a
good. I thought it was a positive thing.
Yeah, it is. So sleeping is.
Is it good for you,
yeah,
right? I'm asking, is it good for you to like rest?
It is. 8 hours.
But there's also another layer to that. Insomnia and hypersomnia is a real thing. So regardless of what you take, sometimes your body gets immune to it and it still doesn't help. So that's why you have people that go on Xanax and things of that nature for that reason.
The next one up,
Oh wow, okay.
To go to sleep.
Ambient.
See,
and they wired like
Look,
this.
Tierra says not go to sleep. Bust out laughing. Then Mia says I'm over here. ROTFL. Mama Pearlie say that, daughter. Y'all better leave Uncle Darren alone.
Leave Darren alone. No, but see, you gotta. She said, "Go to sleep. Go to sleep."
Anyway,
stop wandering around the house. Go to sleep.
Get out the snack. Get out the cabinet now. Because I used to do that. I used to be like a little rat, all in the snacks, eating popcorn at night. Because when you eat that, have your little
go to sleep.
What you said, Deborah?
I wanted to ask, does anybody know what psychoeducation is?
Never heard of it.
To school us, please.
So, what is psycho? What does that mean?
Mentality, your mind.
Yeah, your mind.
Right, mentally unstable, right? So, what is education?
The education of a mentally unstable mind.
Study of the mind.
Study of the mind.
Exactly. So,
a dysfunctional mind.
Right, put it together. That's psychoeducation. You're mentally unstable while reaching for an enlightened experience or a process of receiving or given systematic instruction. So we've already been trained and given instruction. We just got to apply it. No institution needed. You just already have the tools that have been given.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
What? We gotta
come on now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, like when I do things of this nature, a lot of people can recognize from even tapping back into your childhood. They can recognize, some of these disorders walk around you.
Oh, she froze.
On Winnie the Pooh.
There we
Wait
go.
a minute. Wait
Say
a
it
minute.
again. Repeat. You said some of these disorders. You froze for a hot second.
Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so you remember Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. So did you all know that every character had a disorder?
No.
Oh, wow.
So Pooh has OCD and an eating disorder with the honey.
Okay.
That's
but
right.
don't Bear supposed to eat?
Hold on. Let's
It's the cartoon.
Piglet had what? You better tell me that Tom and Jerry had a disorder too.
Piglet
wow.
I remember freaking out.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Rabbit is narcissistic personality disorder. It's always about him. It's always, right?
Wow.
Eeyore has depression.
Oh.
Owl has dyslexia. Tigger has ADHD. That's why he keeps jumping up and down all the time. Kangaroo has social anxiety disorder. The baby Roo has autism. And Christopher Robin was schizophrenic because he imagined all of it.
Let me tell y'all something. They've been putting this in our heads since we was babies.
Period. That's why I said the tools have already been given.
Oh, my goodness. They've been feeding us psychological
disorders. The same thing they've been doing with Tom and Jerry. I know they crazy. Don't tell me that mouse. I know they had some disorders.
Wow, that's deep.
Chasing and trying to figure out who getting the cheese and bread.
Yeah. And Elmer
Fudd. She a Pooh
for real.
And remember what's the Bugs Bunny? Elmer the Fudd. He had
look, mind provoking. Tierra said, you just ruined my childhood. She said you just blew her mind.
I used to love Winnie the Pooh. I never even thought about that until you just said it right now. That's the truth.
But your crazy part was they had the dolls, the stuffed animals, all in the stores. Winnie the Pooh cups. And
that don't mean I don't got a few still.
Liza said she collects some. Al West said she can be a counselor knowing cartoons. LOL.
Y'all don't get me started on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but we don't
want to go there.
That's another show. Don't do it. Don't do it to Snow
or Alice in Wonderland, like we were saying.
Don't do it to Snow.
No, but you know what that is. No, when you really and you go back and look at it. But wait a minute, what was my favorite cartoon? Fat Albert. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Woody Woodpecker had problems too because he was always knocking his head up against the tree.
So he was supposed to pet,
He
but
had
he
a
wasn't
major
supposed to go that
disorder.
far.
Baby.
Wow, y'all.
So yeah,
This is
so
interesting.
that's a trip.
Yeah.
It's like we are around it so much that we see it that we're not even knowing
Not-
that that's what
whose phone
you know.
is that? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's so
Because
that's
we're not
amazing.
exploring with our children these days.
Wow.
It's just that I'm so tired of people saying I have a bad child. No, your
No,
child
you
is a reflection of
don't.
you, not the other way
Yes,
around.
yes,
Come on.
Right.
yes. And
So
even when I see,
you have to go deeper into
Yeah.
exploring with your child. If he's
Right.
having conduct problems or if he's tantruming, you will take your child to the hospital for a broken bone and a cold, but you won't take him to see a therapist for mental health.
amen,
Yeah.
Right.
amen.
It goes,
You
it plays
nailed it.
both ways.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
goes both ways.
I think
Wow.
a tantrum deserves something other than it.
That's deep.
It deserves another kind of doctor that come off a
Oh.
tree, a long, thin.
Yeah.
It's called a
Yeah.
switch.
Yeah.
Tantrum.
I'm used to
Oh, hey,
another whole doctor.
wait, they don't call it
Dr.
switches, they call it
Do-Right.
hands.
That tantrum
Them is what-
deserves Dr.
But you know what though? But you know what though? This is what's raising our kids today.
Yeah.
And we've
But
never,
you right, you
the
right.
phones are raising them. And what are they watching on the phone? These dyslexic cartoons.
But let me tell you
They
what I
are.
noticed too.
So it's
I'll
being
tell you,
put.
anime.
Go ahead.
Every child need to get off of anime. Every
No,
child.
no, my daughter, yeah. And let me
Wow.
tell you something too. My 6-year-old, I noticed they say that YouTube kids is for kids, but it's really not.
It's not.
What they do is they come up with these kid shows, but they put algorithms where they go and advertise little stuff that they know they're not supposed to be
stuff.
seeing.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing that. And I got to find out the name of this app. So what it does is it tells you it lists all the things that are truly for kids and all the things that are not for kids. Someone was telling me about it, and I really got to get on it because I blocked a whole bunch of stuff off her
Yeah.
iPad.
So
Wait a
if
minute.
Winnie the Pooh, Alice in Wonderland, Snow White, if all of them had hidden messages that messed us
Oh,
up,
hold on. I
then
know you talking
imagine-
about the Wizard of Oz.
Girl,
baby.
okay, and then
yeah.
so then imagine what the stuff they are looking
Into-
at,
yep.
and I'm talking about glued to.
Yeah. We got to
These
give our kids
days.
less time on social media.
Quincy said he sure wanted to hear about Snow White.
That'll be part 2. That'll be
yeah.
We gonna go through every cartoon, every every.
Even
Everybody
the Rugrats were
childhood up.
demonic. The Rugrats
Oh,
were demonic.
Rugrats! Oh, I believe that.
Rugrats-
I believe that.
The
I believe
babies
that.
died. The babies were living, but they died.
Okay, let's.
Y'all gotta look
Okay.
at the story.
Oh my God, this is crazy. But then guess what I just thought about?
What about the Pop Up
Smurfs.
Girls?
The Smurfs, y'all, with Azriel.
The Smurfs. The Smurfs was
He
was something
was
wrong.
a demon.
He was a bad.
Azriel
yes.
is actually
And they
the
all
name
had
of
a
real demon.
characteristic. They had
Yep.
they had a kick. All of them had
And
a
hold on,
characteristic.
I think we're gonna go to Care Bears too, right? Because
Oh,
Care
Lord,
Bears
I'm
was
sorry.
another
Care Bears.
wicked. No wonder I have
Whoa.
mental illness.
Mia,
And that's not funny.
yeah.
Just
Hey
saying.
Denise,
Man.
Mia said not only that, YouTube kids teach bad habits.
They do.
Listen to the songs, for instance. They teach the kids that lying is good. Wow.
Yep,
Yes.
I
But this
believe
is,
it.
This is what's raising. That's what I'm saying. You got to be careful. And the
And
thing
then once
is,
COVID happened,
Yeah.
it just
but
took
I
our
be in a
kids
shock
to a whole nother level.
when I
I
cut
know
the kids' hair.
Denise. I know, girl.
When I cut the kids' hair, the first thing to keep the kid
They
calm,
give 'em the phone.
They give them the phone. They
I'm
give them the
sorry.
phone and put cartoons
You know
on.
what
and
you
they
need to
locked
start doing?
in.
What you need to do is you need to get books.
Oh no
Levels 1
no!
through 6.
You
Get
know
a
what you
book.
need to. This is where
Let me
it
tell you what I
start.
do. I
Okay.
put the parent out now. I don't even.
I don't blame you.
I said, you know what? I don't. I need you to go out. Let me because I need
Yeah,
to do my
because they
job.
be watching, they
Because-
wanna critique and all
no,
that
No,
stuff.
not
Needs
even
to
that. They
happen.
want to baby the kid. If you
Yeah.
be good, no. I
Okay,
grab
wait.
their head.
I got the solution. I got the solution, y'all. We have 1 minute. I got the solution.
That's the solution.
Have that talk before you leave that house. Look, when you get out this house, don't
That's right.
embarrass me.
Amen.
When you
Yep.
get in that chair, you better sit still. And
Yep.
if I know you got to do that teeth, and if I have to tell you,
Or you just do the pinch. You know that. Yeah.
see, I don't know. I don't know if we can pinch anymore.
Oh, I'm pinching.
But I know
pinching.
you could grit them teeth, and you better.
Nah,
get in
because I ain't
that
gonna
chair.
I ain't gonna break my teeth.
But look though, y'all, we gotta realize what worked for us in our generation
Don't
we gotta
work,
stop
you right.
putting that on today's
Amen.
generation.
Let me tell
Just
y'all
like
something.
dinosaurs. Wait. Just like dinosaurs are extinct, our generation is too.
Dinosaurs are extinct because we did that. Just like if it ain't
too
broke,
busy. We was too busy hunting the
Let me tell you
dinosaurs.
something.
Don't fix it. Some kids
That's
still
true.
need to get
Let me tell you
whoopings.
something.
I ain't talking
Let me
about
tell you
getting beat. I
That's
ain't talking
true.
about getting
but I'm
abused.
talking about mental
They need
disorders though.
whoopings.
Some of those, like ADHD, you
Oh, we talking
can't
about
say
mental
that because they
disorders.
forget some of the symptoms are
Yeah,
forgetfulness,
that's true.
You know,
That's true.
impaired mental effort, all of that.
I'm
so
not
it doesn't
talking
work
about that.
today.
But
I'm
also,
talking about
you know what?
disrespect. Right is right and wrong is wrong.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
mind
care.
provoking, you're
Yo.
right. When it comes to ADHD and some of those mental disorders, they do forget. So parents, we have to educate ourselves too, because
True.
I know as a parent, having my child, sometimes I have to remind myself, hey, you need to chill out because you know your child has this. You know what I mean?
I
You have to
understand
be
that,
patient.
but what I'm referring to is
Some of these
bad
kids just need a belt.
behavior. I'm talking about
Oh,
telling, no, you make me sick. I hate you, mom. Kicking the.
Let me
I'm
tell you
talking about
something.
that.
I had a
That's what I'm.
yeah, it's
And
called
you know
tantrum.
the tantrum, the Dr. Do Right off the tree.
Let me
Nice
tell you
and
something.
green and
I had a nephew.
Go
I had
back
a
to, you know
nephew.
what they need to start doing? Putting that paddle back in that school. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when that principal
I'm
had
telling
the
you.
paddles in school,
I'm telling you.
they will
paddles
pop
did
you.
not
What?
kill us.
Yes,
they
they
hurt,
do.
though. They didn't
I don't
kill
care.
us. But they.
When I got my paddle,
Listen,
they work.
They work.
I think that paddle will help them remember.
But see, it's crazy. Let me tell y'all what's crazy. It's crazy that the generation today said that don't work for this generation. But
That's not
our
true.
generation who went through it say it
It
worked.
worked. It worked.
How
But
is
nowadays,
that?
but you know what? Because nowadays, if you hit
It
somebody
don't
too
apply.
hard, then you got a lawsuit. It's a different thing now.
Oh,
No,
take- I'm
I mean,
going-
all the
Sue me.
politics around
your
it.
job, your house. See,
Let
you
me
have
tell
to
y'all,
be there.
listen.
Oh, I have a conversation with them.
Some of us need to, if we know that it's not a real mental condition, some of
A
us
lot of
need,
it don't be mental. They
but
just want to be
listen,
bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some of us
Yeah.
need to be willing as parents to sacrifice what could possibly happen to you to save your child.
Amen. Yep. You
That's
nailed
the
it.
problem. We selfish. You ask my son.
Oh, we
and
want to. We want to be
he-
comfortable as parents. Well, let's
he
just
and I
make
are
it
like this
comfortable.
right now today as him being a 30-year-old adult, because growing up, sometimes he got the whooping, sometimes he got the talking to, sometimes he had to read a book and write a report. He was not a whoop me all the time kid. But the thing is, it instilled something in him. And even he says, thank you, mama, for what you did growing up.
I believe
you
it.
helped me. So if we who got the whoopings, who didn't like how it felt, we're saying not the kids that got abused. I'm not talking about those.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just got whoopings, like in my household. If we're
In mine
saying
too.
it worked, the generation today saying it doesn't
And
work,
there's some
and
kids
they're
that
the
did get
ones who
whoopings.
haven't even got. And this is this is one of the worst generations ever.
Well, that is an opinion. That
That's
is an
why
opinion.
I gave it,
Yeah.
because it's my opinion.
Yeah.
It's
Look,
my-
I
look.
think
my
generations
To
are
kinda-
different.
To kind of reel it back into mental health, though.
Yes.
You have kids more psychoeducated on what parents can do and parents can't do, to the point that now the kids are in control of the parents. You know how many parents I have
Amen.
kids come into the office and it's like they running things. I'm talking about this girl was sitting on the side of her mom saying, "Oh, would you hush? I was talking," and she was like, "You right, you right."
Nope,
What?
that's because Dr. Do Right. They came
Oh,
to
here we
Dr.
go.
D. Avera, Lacey. They didn't come
listen.
to Dr. Do Right.
I like what Tierra said. She said the next podcast topic should be about the proper discipline for today's generation. Because
Well,
I don't
nowadays
whip
you
my
can only
son.
use your hand.
She said,
palm
I
of your
don't whip
hand.
my son, but received plenty of them. Look, I still say the belt works.
And
Yeah.
the thing
That
is,
belt still works.
and the thing-
The belt
we
still
gonna
works.
go- okay, y'all. Our time is far spent, but
All
the
right.
thing is, you can't whoop your.
Whooping is not the answer. Take away that phone and
if
that
you
iPad.
believe in
Take
whip-
away what they love.
Listen,
That's
if
the way you discipline these
If
kids
you believe
today.
in whipping, though, some people can't afford iPads and stuff, so they ain't got nothing to take away.
Yeah, but they do got
if you
iPads.
believe in whipping your child, you cannot do it while you angry.
No, that's true.
You can't do
That's
it while
true.
you mad, and that's the last
Well,
straw. I'm tired.
Well, I
of
mean,
it.
wait a minute. They get in trouble.
Okay,
That's
no,
gonna
listen.
make you mad.
Okay,
But why
listen,
would
y'all.
you be mad
That's
because
true.
your child in trouble? You
That's
should
true.
want to discipline and
Yeah.
correct bad behavior, not be mad at them because they got in trouble.
Okay, listen. All right, y'all. We got to go. Our time is up. Listen, we're going to have to bring you back. For
We're
real.
gonna, the next
You see what
episode,
you
like
did?
you
You
said,
see what you did? You
your
done-
next episode got to be what, like you said, what tactics should you use
Yes.
to discipline your children?
All right.
All
So
right,
so listen,
yeah.
listen, y'all. Mind provoking. Thank you so much, man.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
you know, I love you.
I'm not getting the Apple
Uncle love you.
computer.
I love you. Thank you for. I know you got a busy schedule, but thank you for taking your time.
Yes,
we're gonna bring you back
so
home.
Yes, we will bring
Thank
you
I
back.
got
bring
you,
you
and
back
I'll be
home.
honored to come
Knowledge
back.
is
I love y'all
power.
so much.
Thank you.
This is
Y'all
dope.
listen.
But yeah, that's our time. We got to roll out,
Are
y'all.
excited
Yes.
about this show. This
Yes.
is Shift Real Talk Tuesdays, y'all. We keep it raw, we keep it
Real.
funky, and we keep it too real.
Yes.
Now, like, share, and please subscribe.
Yes.
Tell one person. If everybody just tell one person that is new on this channel, tell one person. I found a show, y'all, Real Talk
Oh wow.
podcast
Yes.
that talk real talk, and they actually help, and they have hearts for helping people. We will be able to reach more people.
Amen.
So thank you guys for joining Shift Real Talk Tuesdays.
The Cash App is Love Shifted Me.
Love
Help us out, y'all.
shifted me.
We love you guys. I'm
Yes.
your boy, Pastor J.
I'm your girl, Lady Free,
And I'm too real.
and we
keeping it
have
real.
Mind
Provoking.
provoking.
Good. Woo.
From the ATL, shout it. ATL, shout it.
You know,
A-Town.
now I got a reason to come to Atlanta now.
all right,
A-Town.
y'all, and
All right.
we're
Come on.
out.
We got to go. We out.
We out.
Later.
And we're out.
Peace.